And welcome to the penultimate week here in the Huddle. I'm Kevin Cooney. I'm the football writer from the Bucks County Courier Times, along with Drew Markol, the football writer from the Intelligencer, as we enter week 15 of the high school football season, the first week in December. We are now past Thanksgiving, and two games in local interest coming up, but we'll start with a little PIAA talk here, in a sense where this week's game, we are at William Tennant. This week's game between Liberty and North Penn was supposed to take place here Friday night. On Monday afternoon, William Tennant Athletic Director Lou Pacioli called Bob Ruoff, the head of District 1 of the PIAA, said, I cannot host it because of the amount of volunteers and everything. Last week's North Penn, the Chamonix game here was held. It tested the logistics of everything as far as press box space, crowds, everything.
Where would they go? You know, would I have a problem if this game were played every year at Lehigh? No, I wouldn't have a problem with that. There, people are going to say, well, that's in a District 11 site, and you're going to have more District 11 fans. If you're a fan of a team, you know, the boundary doesn't matter. You go to the place where it'd be most convenient. Now everybody's going to go ship down to Coatesville on a Saturday.
Right.
Well, you know, there's no juice there.
Saturday, 1 o'clock is the game time in Coatesville, which is equally inconvenient, really, for both schools.
For both schools. You know, North Penn played Liberty up in Bethlehem in August.
Right.
They had a lot of fans show up. People do know the way.
Right.
You know, I think, and if you're North Penn, you know, this was your year in Quad A for
a home game.
A home game. Well, Coatesville, you might as well play it in, you know, Harrisburg.
It's actually about halfway there. When you look at it from North Penn. All right, let's look at the football aspect of it. We'll start with North Penn Liberty. And North Penn comes in off a big emotional high last week. They really did a number on the Chamonix, I thought, in the second half. Kind of took that game over. Physically, they play a Liberty team they've beat before. Mm-hmm. Is there an advantage to that, of playing them before, especially when you look at, you know, having to match up with a guy like Gonzalez, the quarterback?
I think there absolutely is. I saw the first game in August when North Penn beat them up in Bethlehem, and in that game, unlike what they've done in the postseason, which is the series of strong second half to pull away, they had a super first half. You know, they scored 3 touchdowns, I believe, by halftime.
Right.
Might even have had a McManus field goal in that span. They jumped on Liberty right away, and I think they kind of shocked them, and you know, and played very well. Now Liberty fought back at the end, made it a game, you know, but it wasn't as close as, you know, as one of those as the score indicated things. But again, that was in August. Here we sit in December. You know, a lot of things changed, but you know, both sides. Liberty hasn't lost since, and North Penn hasn't lost at all. So
prediction time.
Prediction time. Well, I can't go against North Penn. I mean, they keep on winning. The defense shuts out, you know, in the Chamonix last week. They scored 24 the first time against Liberty. I give them, you know, I'll give them 27 this time. Another McManus field goal. I'll give them 27. I'll give Liberty 20.
I say I don't think it'll even be that close. I got North Penn 27-10. I really think that North Penn right now is playing like the best team in the state, bar none. And Liberty, deep down, I hate saying this, you know that the PIAA does not want to see another District 11 team in the Quad A final after what's happened the last couple of years, where the District 11 rep has been the East champion, and the East champion has gotten steamrolled in Hershey.
Right. You know, I fully expect Wilson West Lawn to knock off Bethel Park, and you're going to have a final between, you know, the Western Wilson West Lawn and North Penn next week.
See, I think the way Bethel Park is playing right now with their defense, I mean, they played great defense against Gateway. And you're talking about a team filled with Division I talent.
I watched that game, and
Gateway looked disinterested.
They looked disinterested, and they were out-coached by a Bethel Park team that, you know, doesn't have a lot of speed, you know.
But they're gritty.
Well, yeah, they're gritty, but are they good enough to beat a really good Wilson West Lawn team? I don't think so.
See, they struggled a little bit against State College last week, let up 2 late touchdowns for a 21-14 win. But I think Bethel Park knocks off Wilson. I think you're looking at Bethel Park and North Penn in the Quad A final next
Saturday. At least we'd have a true East-West game.
We would have a true East-West game. And now we go to the AAA final, and it's Selinsgrove and Archbishop Wood, the Vikings and the Seals, meeting up in their first district for the first time, both of them in the semifinals.
Are they really the Seals?
It is the Seals, and right now the Vikings are just on a roll at this point. What can you look for out of Wood, and what has made them so good to this point?
They're surprising me, but at some point you got to stop being surprised because now we're in the state semifinals and they're still playing. You look at their losses. They opened the season with, I believe, a triple overtime loss to Penridge, but since then their only loss was to West Catholic. It's wrong again. The way they're going with the confidence that they have.
And I can tell you about Selinsgrove. One, they're the Seals.
Okay.
They have a fullback, Ryan Kaiser, or a wingback, rather, Ryan Kaiser, who had a couple big runs last week in their win over Berwick.
Mm-hmm.
They're a team that defensively is very stingy.
Okay.
As far as they've allowed, I think, 7.5, 8 points a game. But this sounds awful familiar to what Ruston was last week.
Yes, it does.
So the one advantage I think Selinsgrove's going to have is they're getting to play pretty much in their backyard.
Right.
Hershey is not that far from Selinsgrove. They're calling for a red out. And yes, I just made the quotation mark.
Yes, you did.
On Saturday night, I think, or on Friday night rather. To me, that's a huge advantage. Having to travel on the road,
sure, it's what North Penn is not getting in going to Coatesville.
That being said, I think Wood has been able to handle anything that's been thrown at him to this point, and I think that Wood's offense is going to come up big in this game. I really like Furlong and McCartney and Cunningham. They're just clicking right now on all cylinders. Nobody quite knows what to expect out of AAA football down here this year because Strathaven's not there, the traditional power. Garnet Valley, who was the power the last couple of years, has moved up. I think that has hurt Wood in the state rankings. Mm-hmm. But I think when you look at it football-wise, I think that right now, if you're Wood, you're just happy for the opportunity. And you see that finish line in sight next week. Now, they would probably play Thomas Jefferson from Pittsburgh, who's the defending champs, has D1 players.
But you can burn that bridge next week.
Right. This week, if you get to Hershey, if you get to Hershey for a second weekend, It's a huge accomplishment. All right, prediction time, Drew.
Well, I picked against Wood most every time, so
people in Warminster are begging you to pick Selinsgrove.
So I'll have to pick Selinsgrove. I think between you and me, I think Wood is going to win. But for the camera, I'm going to take Selinsgrove. We'll call it, let's write like a 16-13 Selinsgrove win with a wink.
I will not wink. I will not wink. I think Wood is the better team right now, even with Selinsgrove beating Berwick, even with their gaudy numbers. Selinsgrove to me reminds me a lot of Ruston last week. Good defense, good decent offense. Mm-hmm. But I don't think they're ready for the combination Wood is going to present them. I like Wood 10-7, to be honest. In a close game, I think the home field man Troy will work to Selinsgrove's edge, but I think that Wood finds a way, gets back to Hershey next week to play Thomas Jefferson.
Well, we'll find out Friday night when the Vikings play in Hershey.
That'll be 7 o'clock. And remember to check in the BucksMontSportsNow.com and Intelligencer Now and Courier Times Now, and we will keep you updated on everything going on here as we enter Eastern Final Weekend. I know some people don't like that term, but it's Eastern Final Weekend, and we will be back next week for the final edition for this year of In the Huddle. For Drew Markol, I'm Kevin Cooney. Thanks a lot, and take care.
We got kind of long-winded there.
Yeah, we did.
Sorry.